Hi, on to Viva's Canadian Jenny. Thank you so much for watching. If this is your first time, please don't forget to subscribe. It's very easy to do so. Just hit the subscribe button and don't forget to press the bell icon. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about how you can study abroad with the help of an expert coach, and you can do this all for free. I have an expert coach here, and she's going to answer all your questions about studying abroad, in Canada to be specific. Let's get started. So I'm here with Alexa from Halp, one of the original coaches from Halp. Hello, Alexa. Thank you so much for joining the call. Can you please tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been working with Halp?
Of course. First of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to give everybody a little bit more insight into not only what Halp does, but the kind of study abroad process in general, and hope that we can help people in any way, whether they end up signing up or not. So like Habiba said, my name is Alexa, and I have been here coaching at Halp for almost over 3 years now. So I've been here for quite some time. I've worked with all of the coaches that we currently have, leading the charge and working with students on a day-to-day, and we're always optimizing to make the student experience that much better. About me and my journey with Halp, I started when I was still in university at Dalhousie University in Halifax, Canada, where I studied a Bachelor of Commerce co-op degree. And from there, I joined Halp right out of university because I had a really big passion for helping people kind of achieve their goals, and education is a very interesting space to me. And I think it's an extremely important space that everyone should have access to, which is why I decided to come join the Halp team. So that's a little bit more about me and my journey with Halp so far.
Oh, that's nice. Maybe next time we'll have you talk to us about Dalhousie University here in Nova Scotia. I'm always trying to get people to come to Atlantic Canada.
Oh, it's the best. Having lived there for 4 years, I could talk for a long time about Halifax and Atlantic Canada and how it's a great place to live and study.
It is. So please talk us through the Halp process. What happens when a student or a client registers on Halp? Immediately they register, what happens? What's the process like?
So once a student or a client, we also call them members, signs up for Halp, what you will immediately be prompted to do is complete your profile. So that just allows us to gather more information about you, where they're at in the process, kind of the different requirements that they might need, or requirements that they might need to fulfill in order to apply for university in Canada or college in Canada. And that is then given to our coaches. So then once someone completes their profile, they get reached out to by actually our Halp concierges. And those are 2 international students. They've since graduated, but they know the entire experience back to front, and they'll work with students to learn that much more about the user or the client so that they can match them with the perfect coach. So our goal is to match students with coaches that, obviously all of our coaches have the same experience level and they're all amazing coaches, but it's not just about who can get you from A to B. We want to make sure that our clients have a good experience, and it is a very long process that you're working with your coach, and you are sharing a lot of your personal information, especially if you're writing an SOP, or when you get to your visa application process, you're kind of sharing financial documents. And so we want to build a really strong relationship with your coach so that the students feel like they can trust them and they have an ally kind of in a system that gets a little bit scary and overwhelming at times. So once the Halp concierge kind of matches the student with their perfect coach, that's when their coach will come on. It all goes through the same phone number, so there's no disruption in the student flow or how the student has been communicating with the coach. And once the coach comes on, that's when they start working on their university list together. So what the Halp concierge has been doing is they've been gathering all this information about the students' interests, if they want to go to a specific province, whether they have a specific program in mind, whether a small campus or a bigger campus might be more important to them, and what type of community feel they're trying to achieve. And our coach kind of takes all that information that our Halp concierge have gathered and gives the student some beautiful recommendations, about 3 to 4, on where we think, because we know the process so well and we have worked with so many students, where we think they might be the most successful. So then the student and the coach kind of work together to refine that list and make sure that the student is happy. They do some research together. The student can actually book a Zoom call with the coach and chat with them face to face and discuss any worries they might have or any clarification that might be needed. And once they come to a conclusion of usually about two universities, that's when they start the application process. And then once that happens, the coach helps the student completely. So with Halp, you apply for your university through us. So we actually have partnerships with the universities, and that allows us to apply on your behalf. It allows us to review your application before you submit it, so that what you're sending to the school, or what we're together sending to the school, is the best package of yourself. And it really shows everything that they might need to see in order to determine whether you may be successful at that university. Okay. So I know I'm going on a bit of a tangent, but I want to make sure that kind of everyone understands exactly what we do. And it's a long process too, but sure. I'll speed it up a little bit as well. But once you get accepted, if you have more than one offer, your coach will help you determine, again, based on your interests or your criteria, which university is best for you. And then finally, we will also help you throughout the entire visa process. So if you're not familiar with that process yet, you have to write another SOP or statement of purpose about why you want to come to Canada specifically. We'll review that again, making sure that you're putting your best foot forward. And one thing that we offer that you don't see a lot in this market is, once you have your visa, we'll also help you set up accommodation, choose your class schedule, book your flights, find a bank that kind of supports your needs. Same thing with the phone service. And I was actually speaking with one of our students yesterday, and he was saying that that was one of his biggest fears. Was he's gotten in, he got his visa, but what does he do now? He doesn't know how to pick his courses or what even those required courses are. So we also help with the end of the process as well.
Wow. So if I hear you right, you'd help initially with the student applications, university or colleges. Then you also, once the student gets university or college of their choice, you also help with the visa process. And for me, this is because I've been an international student myself, this is one of the most critical stages of the process, because a lot of people get admission, but then getting study permit is the real tricky part, because students sometimes shoot themselves in the foot with the statement of purpose, or just not having the rights, just packaging the right application. So what kind of experience do the Halp coaches have with visa applications, study permit applications? Because this is what a lot of students are really concerned about.
Yes, that is a great question. So all of our coaches, once they onboard on Halp, they go through a little bit of a certification process where they learn about not just the Canadian visa process, but also the UK, Australia, and the US, which are other countries that we also have partnerships with. So they get certified to learn not just the basic steps, but all the nuances and little things that might change. And Halp actually just partnered with a additional company called Bisto, which was built and is run by immigration lawyers who have studied the whole process. They took 3 years to study the entire process, gather all of the documents, and make a checklist that autofills your documents for you. So not only when you sign up for Halp are you getting Halp's expertise, but we have partnered with immigration lawyers who will also provide their expertise. And then the three of us as kind of a group, as the client, the Halp coach, and Visto will review and create your visa application and submit it to the visa offices. And then just one other thing to add on that is we also know that visa is a really, really big kind of worry and a really big point of anxiety for international students. So we've also introduced doing monthly webinars with the CEO of that company that we've partnered with, who is an immigration lawyer. And it's basically a fireside chat where him and myself, we just answer questions that students might have about the visa process, whether they just signed up for Halp or they're already working with their coach. They can just come and ask any questions, because the likelihood of them having that question is, the likelihood of someone else also having that question is very high. And we can speak to the specific country requirements as well. So the Canadian visa services has their requirements, and then each Canadian embassy in all those countries also have requirements.
Oh, wow. You had me at immigration lawyer. I know, as an immigrant, I know how much immigration lawyers charge. So for you guys to be partnering with immigration lawyers on their application, I think it's an extra bonus. And I think every prospective international student should take advantage. However, one of the I don't want to say issues is that a lot of students, prospective international students, are skeptical when they hear that the services offered by Halp is free. Because as we know, immigration agents, immigration lawyers, they charge a lot for the same services that Halp is offering free. What would you tell people who want to use the services offered by Halp, but are skeptical that how can something so good be free?
Yes, that is a great question. And I will get to that in just a second. I just want to be clear that we partner with a company that was built by immigration lawyers. It's not your application is being directly reviewed by immigration lawyers, but we are trained to review applications. But I just wanted to make that very clear, because you get into the little legal nuances there. So we're partnered and we have professionals that kind of advise us, but we are not immigration lawyers. Just wanted to make that clear. To answer your question about the service being free, this is definitely something that we talk to students about every day. And there's kind of two ways to answer it. The first way is that our whole mission in why Halp was created is to make education accessible to everyone. And we're starting with the international student market because we feel that that is the market that kind of needs the most support right now. And to answer the question about it being free, it kind of builds off of our mission of having education be accessible. And it was our point of view to take the financial burden of the beginning of the study abroad process, take that off the student and put it onto us and our partners. So we believe that it should be free because every student should even have the opportunity to see if this is a possibility or an achievable dream for them. And for a lot of students, they don't even have the opportunity to even see if it's something that they could do because there's a huge financial barrier to even entering it, which is the agents or the lawyers, etc., that charge money up front. So Halp is completely free because we have such amazing partners in our universities and the financial services companies that we're partnered with that actually allow us to take on the financial burden for the student. So at Halp, you will never be charged by us. The only thing that you will ever have to pay for is the university application, if there is one, and then the visa application, which always has a fee. And unfortunately, there's no workaround for that.
Right. I'm really glad you mentioned that, because that was going to lead me to my next question. Because yes, the services from Halp are free, but
Mhm.
the student has to pay for the visa application process, which,
Mhm.
and if any university or colleges charge application fees. And then, of course, if they get, they'll also have to show, I guess the students also have to show that they have the funding, isn't it, to study.
Exactly. So we believe that every student should have the opportunity to see if they can make their dreams a reality. If we determine that we know the market very, very well, and we know what is required to get your visa seen and get it taken to the next step by an immigration office. So we will always be honest and truthful with a student, which is another thing that a lot of other agents or companies might not do, because they want to gain their fee. They want to charge the student and they want their fee. So we will always be honest with students. And not only that, but we will give them the next steps that they need in order to make going abroad achievable for them. So for example, if it is determined that maybe they don't have enough proof of funds right now, we'll give them ideas on how they can achieve those funds, whether they have family members that are already living in Canada that might be able to sponsor them, or they might do their undergraduate degree in their home country and try and do their postgraduate degree in Canada, or take some time off, work for a year, build up their resume, build up their kind of affordability in their budget to go abroad, and then they can totally come back to Halp, sign up, and we'll help them achieve that goal. So especially with affordability, because that is a really big piece of studying abroad, we'll be very upfront with students, and we'll also provide them with the next steps that they might need to take in order to be able to achieve the next time they try to study abroad.
Yes, I can actually attest to that, because one of my subscribers a couple of weeks ago registered for Halp, met with their coach on multiple occasions, and they came back and said that I was advised to put this on hold till next year so that I could work for a bit and get some funds. And I was very, very impressed, because I hardly hear people say that, that you don't. But he was also very happy that the Halp coach was very honest, and upfront, and not just honest, but also provided like the next best options, which I thought was fantastic.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. Because even just to add on to that point, even if the student doesn't end up actually getting approved for their visa, they could still have spent money on a university application and on their visa. And that could add up to $250 that Canadian dollars that they could still have in their pocket. So we want to be upfront so that a student doesn't have to spend anything on the process if we know that maybe they don't have the proof of funds, which is the biggest barrier right now to be able to study abroad.
Yep. And I think that's fantastic. And final question. So this is March, the spring, going to be spring next week of 2023. So if students want to get into university, like in Canada now, for September, the fall of 2023, or January 2024, when do they have to register? Is there like a cutoff? Is it the sooner the better, or you can wait till?
Yeah, great question. My answer would be always the sooner the better. Basically, even if the intake isn't closed, so even if a university still has their applications open for September 2023, in Canada, we go by a rolling acceptance. So as soon as the student applies, their application will be reviewed. Sometimes it takes a week, sometimes it takes 2 months. But once their application has been reviewed, they'll get accepted. And those seats will slowly start to fill up. So if a student wants to apply for September 2023 and they want to go to Dalhousie, I'll just use that as an example. Dalhousie could still have their applications open, but they could only have 5 seats left in the program because they've already accepted X amount of students. So the answer is always the sooner the better. The other piece for that is the visa. The sooner that you get accepted and you have your letter of acceptance, the sooner you can apply for your visa. And right now, Canada has gotten a lot better than they were with their visa wait times. In COVID, it was something like 5 months of a wait time. And so they've gotten a lot better and the wait times have gotten a lot shorter, but there's no way for you to ever determine if there's going to be a government shutdown or a system outage that prevents the visa process from being continued. So my short answer is the sooner the better, no matter what, to sign up for Halp, because then at least you're working with your coach. So even if your intake isn't until January 2024, wouldn't it be nice to know in April of 2023 that you've been accepted and you've already submitted your visa? And then you also just have that much more time to prepare too. You have time to book your flights, schedule your classes, find accommodation, which sometimes can be difficult. And it just gives you a lot more time to feel confident and when you arrive versus we'll still support you and we'll still be there. But when you're cutting it a little bit close, it can be a little bit more stressful and overwhelming.
I agree. So the sooner the better.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Alexa. This has been, even for me, this has been very, very informative. I had the idea that the Halp coaches did so much. I really appreciate it. And yeah, thank you.
Awesome. I was so excited to be here. Happy to come back and answer questions anytime.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Habiba.
Hi, my name is Habiba.